Cancer. Sorry if I still sound like a frog. It's been some pretty sick times over here. My apologies for not getting a reading out last time, but not too good. So let's get into the reading now. First card popping out of the deck. Eight of Cups in reverse. Somebody may be considering coming back. Is that what's going on? Are you considering coming back? Is somebody considering coming back to you? Somebody thinking about it? Or is action behind it? Who knows? I'm going to pull your cards and we're going to go from there, okay? Five of Swords. So, mind games, miscommunications, intentional miscommunications, somebody not being upfront and honest. Yeah, let me just pull cards right now, okay? Four of Wands. Three more for Cancer. Wheel of Fortune. Ace of Cups. Page of Wands. 10 of Wands. 10 of Cups. Let's pull one more. Show me Cancer. Devil in reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, the Three of Wands. So, patience when dealing with somebody. Maybe somebody's had to have had a lot of patience in regard to this situation overall. It feels like there's a fair amount of love here. It feels like there's the desire to heal something. It feels like somebody's addressing their negative ways, their codependent issues, addressing how they may have left, addressing how we may have maintained ourselves in the situation prior to this comeback. I feel like somebody wants to, rectify something here to bring back stability, and kind of getting there is a little bit difficult. Trusting yourself in regard to how you want to go about it is difficult. Like the process is there, it's difficult. So I would suggest heavily to be patient, but also know that this process is for your benefit, and the person that's trying to make this decision, it's for their benefit as well, because it doesn't seem like this is negative. It feels like it's actually just addressing things, letting go of burdens, frustrations, being very real with ourselves, and being genuine with our partner, and being excited about the next phase here. If somebody was thinking about leaving because, maybe they were dealing with somebody who was frustratingly pig-headed, that needs to be addressed for sure. But yeah, it feels like there's something here that is worth salvaging, and it feels like something that you want. So I would say focus on it, work on it. And for this being the card dead center of this reading, definitely an amount of love between you two, but more so the desire to heal something, the desire to be on the same page with each other emotionally, be very clear with each other emotionally, trusting each other, opening up that dialogue of the heart, I'm going to write that down because that might be your name of your reading. Yeah, letting go of things, letting go of baggage, learning from the past within this situation, and really honoring what you've learned. Everybody fucks up. Everybody makes mistakes. It really just depends on how we view the situation and the person that we either want to come back to or rectify something with. And also, how do we see ourselves? How do we grow? How do we really address those aspects too? Just because somebody can verbally say, oh yeah, I want to come back, this and that, but like, have you changed? What are the telltale signs of that change? What is your progression? And not everybody learns and moves on the same page, but sometimes we have to see clear-cut evidence that somebody is changing their life, and that can be a little bit daunting just because our hearts speak a little bit faster sometimes than how actions actually take the time that it takes actions to manifest. Our hearts can want something. And so I think that there's a necessity here to be patient. The energy is supported here for positivity and regrounding a situation. But I think we have to really address how we look at something, how we deal with somebody, lovingly, recognizing their flaws, recognizing our flaws, because it's two-way. Nobody is perfect. And the Five of Swords also, it's not the end of the world. Like, this card has so many meanings. It can mean being totally just like an asshole and trying to, take over everything and, win the battle but not the war, and like just being mentally manipulative. It can also be somebody who causes frustration in situations because they don't communicate well. They're angry inside and it kind of derails things. Like, there's multiple ways that the Five of Swords could be, experienced in a love relationship, especially. Like, I just want to preface that, like, everybody has flaws. Everybody has bullshit, just because the Five of Swords is here doesn't mean the world's falling down, But here, the way that this is presented in this reading, the Five of Swords is looking straight on to this Eight of Cups in reverse. Eight of Cups in reverse speaks of somebody coming back, somebody wanting to rectify something, somebody wanting to clear things up, somebody recognizing the energy and effort that was put into a situation is actually worth their time and their contribution, so but it's addressing this BS behavior too. So dual-edged sword there, make it as you will, do as you will with it, but it feels like whatever this is, it's actually something that's positive. It doesn't feel terrible. So let's go ahead and clarify this reading and we can get started. I'm going to use the Toth deck, the mini Toth deck, because the other one is gigantic. I don't know if I can actually hold it. Okay. Cancer. All right, so show me this Five of Swords first. What's up here? So the Five of Swords, you have the Three of Wands here. I'm going to pull one more. Show me this Five of Swords. So we have the Five of Swords with the Four of Cups and the Prince of Wands. So this is the Page of Wands here. Now, it's interesting just because it's like, I feel we're ambivalent to look at this. We're also worried that somebody might not take us back. And this is what this person wants. Like, they want to be taken back. They want to be taken seriously, it feels. And it feels like they're kind of frustrated because they're not certain if the path that they're going on is going to be something that's going to work for them. You have the Prince of Wands here twice, Page of Wands twice in this reading. This is energy that is ready to go. It's excited about it. It wants to move forward, but sometimes it doesn't necessarily have all of the information ready. It's not quite certain how it's going to move things forward. It's not quite certain how it's going to lift this up and make it right, but it's what they want. It's what they want. And I think that this person is willing to have some patience in going about it. Even though we have the Prince of Wands here, which is kind of like impetuous energy, they need to cultivate patience. You have the Three of Wands here twice here in this reading. And underneath the Three of Wands at the base of the reading, you have the Chariot. Under the Chariot, you have the Knight of Wands. So this is movement. This is forward direction. And under the Knight of Wands, you have the Two of Wands. So directions, choosing directions. How do we want to go in this? How do I grow up? How do I maintain my relationships? Like an overhaul. Like, how do you look at these things? And be very genuine about it. It takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of diligence, and it takes a lot of staying power. And I feel somebody right now may be not certain about that, the staying power of this, because it's like they're trying to come back. You have the Eight of Cups in reverse, at the beginning of the reading. And the final card here is the Devil in reverse. So it's like having to essentially look at the entirety of the relationship, the connection, the love, the stability, the desires, the hopes, look at all of the bullshit that's transpired between you, recognize how you stabilize yourselves and each other, where it's good, what needs working on. And letting go of toxicity between you, letting go of negativity. If somebody needs to learn how to communicate again, if somebody, or at all, if somebody needs to get out of their mind, if somebody's an asshole, you know, I don't advocate for being with assholes, not at all. But if somebody is just like, Five of Swords can also mean somebody who's like severely depressed, okay? And their depression, it's like being around fucking Eeyore all the time. Like their depression is like, like, you know, it drags the energy down. It sucks you down. Like they may be the sweetest person in the world, but have you been around somebody that's like, being around them is exhausting because they're constantly like in this like cloud. Like that is the type of energy that can happen with this Five of Swords. And it can get into the way of relationships. It can really cause relationships to be frustrating and uncomfortable and like negative. Like I'm feeling more negativity versus like somebody who's just like an outright asshole. Okay. But the Four of Cups, they're worried that this isn't going to get off the ground. Okay. And I feel like they're worried too that they don't have all of the tools in regard to how to get this off the ground, even though it's something that they want very much. Show me the Eight of Cups in reverse here. Something they want very much. The Eight of Cups in reverse, you have the Ten of Cups being spat out immediately. It's somebody who recognizes how much they care about the situation, how much they care about you. It could be you recognizing how much you value somebody. There's a lot here about value, and it's also a lot here about adjusting ourselves and adjusting our personalities so that we can have a cohesive relationship versus being butting heads all the time, you know? Show me the Four of Wands for Cancer. So, you know, the Four of Wands popping out for the Four of Wands. This time it's in reverse. I think that this is the current situation. I think that the way this is presented here, this is almost a reflection of how somebody's feeling about the situation, their desire in a situation. Here's the reality of the situation. The foundation is off. The foundation is not happening. There could be a breakup in the past. This could be a situation where we are no longer living together and we want to restabilize that, you know. I feel that everything here on the table is what we want to prove, what we want to make and cultivate into existence versus what the reality is right now. Okay, show me Wheel of Fortune. So for the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Queen of Wands and you have the Strength card. It's in this deck. It's called Lust. The Queen of Wands is very direct in her approach. She is no nonsense. She's beautiful. She's a very nurturing person, and she's loving and exciting and exuberant and a lovely human being to be around. Now, if that's not the case, this is somebody who just, if the energy is there for this, this energy takes what they want, but they do it in a way that's not, they're not an asshole. They just go after what they want. They see something and they go after what they want. Queens also represent receptivity in a person. If this person has not been receptive to you in the past, or you've not been receptive to somebody in the past, it feels like that type of energy is opening up. It feels like we are opening up. We're also taming our beast. The Five of Swords here with this Strength card, you know, especially with it being called lust, I don't necessarily think that means sexual, you know, energy that this person is fighting. It could be. I don't know your situation. This reading is for thousands of people. But in regard to this Five of Swords, I feel that this person is going to have to trust themselves, go in the direction that truly makes sense for them and that they truly desire and want, but also tame that inner beast, tame that egoic aspect of themselves, learn patience, learn how to communicate, you know, learn how to be a good person, you know. Maybe they're great, but it seems like somebody's having a difficult time with how they act, how they operate, how they think. And if it's not like an outward, like asshole, it's somebody that is, I would say their depression or a chemical imbalance is something that feels like it causes things to be very off and it's disrupted a relationship, okay? Show me the Ace of Cups here. So for the Ace of Cups, you have these cards popped out in the reverse. You have the Moon and you have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse here. All right, Cancer. This is a necessity to heal. Nothing's going to get off the ground if you don't heal this situation properly. With the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, you have to be very conscious of the stability that you bring. You have to be conscious of the effort behind the offer. It's important, it's vital, you know, and it feels like somebody now with this Moon in reverse is being able to see that. They're being able to clear their head and come forward towards what they want. And that's beautiful, but also I feel like this massive ambivalence just because it's like they're not certain that this is going to be taken either into consideration or it's not going to be given a chance, you know? So, but again, the Star card, I didn't mention that before when I was pulling out the Queen of Wands and the Strength card, but the Star was at the bottom. Somebody wants this. Somebody wants this. And this is like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's destiny. I'm not like that. Like, if a situation is supposed to happen, it's going to happen, you know? But with the Star here, this is more so talking about trusting your path, trusting the guidance that you're given in regard to the path that you're on, okay? A lot of people have a difficult time trusting themselves. A lot of people have a difficult time trusting that intuitive aspect of themselves. It's very hard for people sometimes, and I get it, but we have to. And the fact that the Star is here, this is kind of a nudge in the direction that your alignment is essentially supposed to be in. Like, this is alignment time. Make it happen. You know, trust yourself. Make it happen. At the bottom of the deck underneath the Star, you have the Nine of Cups. So you have the Nine of Cups here and then the Ten of Cups. It's a progression. And we started with the Eight of Cups here. It's a progression to your happiness. Somebody needs to be communicative, though. Somebody needs to not be an iceberg and shut off. And if somebody's dealing with deep depression and like emotional imbalance, they need to address that. It's not for you to address. They need to address it. You can communicate how it totally affects you in this situation, but they have to address it. They have to do the footwork with that, okay? And the emotional healing. The center card of this reading is the Ace of Cups. Yes, a love offer. Most definitely it feels like this is a love offer or a rekindling of love, but it also feels like healing. The Ace of Cups communicates heavy levels of healing on multiple layers, you know, and so we both have to be on board for that, okay, Cancer? I'm going to put those cards back because they were just at the bottom of the deck. Show me the Page of Wands. Yeah, for the Page of Wands, you have the Two of Pentacles here. This is somebody who is very nervous. I almost feel like I'm repeating myself. This is somebody who's very nervous about coming forward. You know, it's like they could have options of going towards something else because it's almost like, I don't want to say it like that. They could choose something else because this is scary, okay? And if they don't want to deal with this, they could choose something else. I'll put it that way. But it feels like this person is wanting this, okay? It feels like this person is wanting this. And at the bottom of the deck, you have the Hermit. It feels like this person is wanting this situation to come forward into it, move it forward. But also here with the Hermit, it also feels like they're doing a very, very heavy level of contemplation, a lot of soul searching in regard to this. And it's going to take some time, you know. Growth takes time. Like, you can't make a rose bloom. Like, you can tear its petals apart and to see the center, you know. But what do you have? You have an immature rose that's now on the floor and everything's broken. Like, what's the point? Yeah, it's kind of pretty, but what's the point? Show me the Ten of Wands here for Cancer. So for the Ten of Wands, you have the Death card, okay? And you have Judgment here. Yeah, this is basically transformation, letting things go, moving things along, learning our lessons to the umpteenth degree. Somebody feels a fair amount of guilt here as well. I think that their tail is kind of between their legs at this point, if not literally, emotionally. And yeah, but it feels like the transformation is here. You could be dealing with the Scorpio as well, Cancer. You don't have to be, but you could be dealing with Scorpio. I will say that because I'm feeling Scorpio. And they're like fucking around the corner. That's what it feels like, Scorpio to me. I don't know. They just like, I love Scorpios. Yeah. And it may take some time for this person to come forward. You have the Knight of Pentacles here. But this transformation in regard to the Knight of Pentacles being presented here at the bottom of the deck underneath the Death card and Judgment, it's shifting. It's moving to something positive. It takes time. It's going to take time. Yeah, it's going to take a fair amount of time, but it's okay. It's okay. It feels like it's unraveling, you know, unraveling this situation to bring more certainty, to bring more clarity, to bring more understanding here between two people. Show me the Ten of Cups for Cancer. Show me the Ten of Cups, please. So Cancer, for the Ten of Cups, you have the Princess of Wands. You have the Justice card. And then you have the Six of Wands here. So, not bad. Truth, genuine connection, truth, honesty, really making something right to bring it back to the right spot. But again, here we have the Page of Wands again. Somebody who's very, I want to say like they're excited about it inside of themselves. And I don't mean excited like, oh yes, let's do this. I think that's more anxious energy. It's more anxious energy. That's what I feel. And I feel it's because of how they are, you know, what they've presented to you. Show me the Devil in reverse. So for the Devil in reverse, you have the Nine of Wands popping out in reverse. This deck is upright, so you guys know, okay? With the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So basically here, decision-making time. It's time to let this type of energy go, this toxicity, this toxic masculinity, if that's what's going on here. That's kind of where I'm feeling too, is like toxic masculinity, how somebody maybe is not able to step into their, like their emotional side, like that's uncomfortable for them, like cripplingly so, uncomfortable, not comfortable for them. But we're letting down our defenses with this Nine of Wands here in reverse. We're letting down the defenses, okay? The decision, it feels like there needs to be, this is the decision that needs to be made here. And it's coming. It's just somebody has to get their mind around it. Then we have the Knight of Swords at the bottom of the deck for that. So clear communication. It might not be the most finessed communication, but it's communication that is going to happen, or it needs to happen. And this person, I feel, is like building themselves up to get to that point for you, Cancer, or you for someone. Because these readings can go back and forth. So this may be you feeling this way, okay? Let's pull an oracle card for this reading, you guys, and then we will be done. Show me energy present for Cancer for this reading. Cancer. Cancer. You have two, Cancer. Okay, so you have Hyena and you have Slug, two very different creatures. It might be the energy between you, two very different creatures, but love is between you. Connection is there. So Hyena, 44. Bear with me. Hyena. Family, matriarch, home. While hyenas have a bad reputation in pop culture and literature, this card focuses on the social groups of these interesting beasts. Hyenas live in large groups consisting of up to 80 individuals. Families are fairly tight-knit, with cubs even able to identify relatives as far as their great aunt. Their societies are matriarchal, with females being of higher rank than males. Convene with your home, be it your family, your group of close friends, for they are the ones who will always have your back. So if you're dealing with a situation where you need to communicate with somebody in your family or just rely on your family and friends while dealing with this, if the person that is dealing with this that's needing to come forward, they may need to consult friends. I feel that this person is like shut down. I feel that they're like stifled. You might want to go and watch the Sagittarius video. It seems very similar in a weird way. I did that one a couple readings ago, and this is like Sagittarius kind of energy. It's weird, or at least some of the message. Doesn't have to be the same reading, but I'm just feeling that I need to tell you that. And Slug. Let's check out Mr. Slug. Slug. Please. Okay. All right, Slug. My tummy's growling. Steadfastness, pacing, masculine, feminine. Here in the Pacific Northwest, slugs, especially pictured the banana slug, are a very common sight during the fall. The slug encourages us to slow down, which can be difficult in this fast-paced world. It is persistent and focuses on its goal, reaching it at its own pace. It will get there eventually, and it knows it. Slugs are also hermaphroditic, making them the perfect balance of masculine and feminine. Okay, that's what feels a little bit more engaged with this reading. Somebody trusting the pace, the pace and the progress and how they address something here. And kind of remember what I said about like somebody having an issue with like toxic masculinity. I feel that there's a definite need for a balancing between masculinity and femininity, divine feminine, divine masculine. And I don't mean twin flames. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not on the twin flame choo-choo. Like, that's not what's up for me. I don't really subscribe to that. And I know a lot of people do, and you guys are more than welcome to. I think that we're all soulmates. I'm your soulmate. You're my soulmate. The fact that we're being brought together right now to experience this, that's a connection. There's a reason why we're being brought together. Okay. I don't know you. You don't know me, but something's happening here. If it is, if it is. It is if it is. Yeah, somebody needing to get out of that toxicity in regard to, well, men are supposed to be this way and men are da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's bullshit. Like, humans are humans and we all bleed and we cry if we allow ourselves to. So I want to read this other card on the bottom of the deck. I've never read this, and it's at the bottom. It's called Asphodel. I've never read this one, so I'm very curious, and you get that in your reading as well, Cancer. Asphodel 23. Okay. Okay. Asphodel. Feeling stuck, unable to move on, regret. In the Greek underworld lies the fields of Asphodel. This is a realm where ordinary people who are not heroic enough for the Elysian fields, nor wicked enough for the pits of Tartarus, lie. In Victorian floriography, the flower means, my regrets follow you to my grave, or my regrets follow you to the grave. You are unable to move on from something. Are you unable to move on from something? Is there anyone you need to say I'm sorry to? That's why these two cards popped out, because it's that one that needed to be said. That's why, Asphodel. This person needs to speak their mind. They need to speak their heart. They need to get over toxic masculinity or femininity, like whatever it is toxic that's just holding them back from communicating. It needs to be transmuted and moved on. And they need to show their underbelly. They need to be as delicate and as vulnerable as this slug. And sometimes that's very, very difficult to do. Slugs get stepped on. Slugs get picked up by birds all the time. Slugs get salt poured on them. Like, they're very, very vulnerable things. And sometimes vulnerability is the thing that keeps us trapped or entirely freed. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you, Cancer. My name is Isel. I'm on YouTube as the Altruistic Mystic. And if you did find it helpful, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to donate, there's a donation box in the description box below. You don't have to. And I will be back for your mid-May reading in a couple of weeks. And yeah, thanks so much again for you guys' patience, with me being sick. I'm still sick, but it's better. I don't have 100 fever anymore, or 104 fever. All right, you guys take care. Bye.